Friday as water seeped onto this track that caused the cancellation of qualifying. The starting order set by owners' points, and that was good for Johnny Benson, who was in the 14th row today, so no complaints. He was injured in a Busch Series race back in Richmond. Last night, the Busch Series was in Nashville. Jack Sprague went on to take an emotional victory. His first win on the Busch Series. It came in his 90th race. Big night for the former Truck Series champion. We're expecting a big day today. One of the keys to the race today, we touched on it, how a driver will shift his way through the 500 miles of Pocono. For an illustration of that and a better explanation, let's go down to what DW likes to call a Jeffy Lube. Jeff Hammett at the Ford Cutaway car. Jeff?
Well, guys, today, a lot of teams will be shifting, and one thing they'll be looking at doing is trying to find the right selection of the overdrive gear. Normally, on a 4-speed transmission, you'll see this lever pointed up. Normal shift pattern today is sit there for overdrive. What this allows the teams to do is to run basically in third gear, and that'll be the 1-to-1 ratio, which will match up with their rear gear. A lot of the teams are running 370, 375 rear gears today, but if they start turning a little too much RPM as they go down this long straightaway, they'll shift it back into fourth, which goes into overdrive, helps to drop the RPMs, save the valve train, which is very important. Isn't that right, Larry McGrandles?
Yeah, I mean, what they do, we heard Darrell talk about how important that short chute coming off turn 2 is they have about a 389 gear there, and that's what third gear is. And when you shift into high gear, which is the overdrive, it ends up being about a 358. And the reason they do it that way, you spend most of your time around this racetrack in third gear, 1-to-1, because when you're in overdrive, which is fourth gear, the drive shaft speed is so fast in overdrive, it causes a vibration that can pretty much aggravate that driver.
It can do that. As we talked about early on in the show, Dick Bergen was showing you like the tunnel turn. These short chutes in the tunnel turn, you have to get off, so you need to get that RPM and keep everything wound up, and that's the need for this special transmission here at Pocono. Think about it, guys. We call this place a super speedway, but how many times do you hear about shifting at a super speedway, Chris?
All right, thanks, Jeff. And he'll be nearby with the Ford Cutaway car throughout the race for further explanation if we need it. Now, among today's drivers who have to do a lot of the shifting, Rusty Wallace has won here 4 times. That ties him with Bill Elliott for the most victories among active drivers. And Rusty is trackside with our Steve Burns. Steve?
Thanks, Chris. Now, Rusty, you've described your season as efficient, quiet, but can you get into the winner's circle today?
Yes, I sure can. I got a good car. And if it's off because of the heat a little bit this morning, it's hotter right now than it was yesterday, we'll stay adjusting on it, just like all these other guys. We'll be adjusting real hard on it. And the season's been quiet, but it's been effective, and so I hope that continues right now.
Biggest key to victory today, Rusty?
Biggest key to victory is track position, I think. First of all, you got to have a good handle on the car to stay up front. But this is a track, if you're up front and you come in and put tires on and get yourself in the back, it's going to be doggone hard to get back up front.
Best of luck, Rusty. Let's go to Dick Berggren.
With Ricky Rudd, who will not have track position. He changed an engine in this car yesterday, so he's going to have to start all the way from the back. But he's got a good car, and this is one of Ricky Rudd's very best racetracks. He won here last June. In the 45 races he has run, he has contended to win over a dozen of them. But starting in the back is a tall, tough order at Pocono.
Well, we've been watching Matt Kent. It seems like he does it every week. You know, if you're going to have to start in the back, Pocono is a track that you would choose on your schedule to do so. It's such a wide racetrack, plenty of room to pass. The only downside is we got a very fast race car, but the downside is it's going to take us half the race to get to the front. So if we run like we did in practice, which was extremely well yesterday. So we got our work cut out for us, but hopefully we're up for the task.
Good luck to you. To Matt Yoakum.
Well, Dick, Jeff Gordon taping up the right hand because here at Pocono they do shift like at the road courses. And Jeff, this is beginning a great stretch for you. The next 4 racetracks you want to combine 12 times. You have to have more confidence coming into Pocono.
I love this track, and we do have great statistics here, but those don't mean a whole lot right now. That's history, and we had a great car yesterday, and things have been going pretty well for us here recently. You know, I think that we've got what it takes to win, but we've got to get a few more things to go our way. You know, we got to have, you know, the pit stops go right. We got to have the right adjustments, make sure we match up the tires, you know, to the way we're setting up the car, and then, you know, just try to not get shuffled back in traffic. It's just so important to stay up front. We got a great starting position, and I think the DuPont Chevrolet is going to be one of the cars to beat today.
Quickly, are you going to become a little more aggressive?
Well, I think there's a difference between being aggressive on the track and being aggressive with the setups, and I think we're trying to get a little more aggressive with the setups. You know, you got to be aggressive on the racetrack to keep track position, but you know, there are certain things that you do out there. You know when to be aggressive, when not to be aggressive, and you know there's still that guy that's been racing Winston Cup for 9 or 10 years that you know, has got to do certain things a certain way, and it's hard to change that.
3 wins at Pocono. A win today will tie him as one of the all-time winningest drivers here at Pocono. Chris?
All right, thanks. And the drivers who've led the most laps have failed to win the last 6 races here. You said you liked a veteran, so how about what Jeff Gordon was talking about? Is it better to lay back a little bit and wait for that last 100 miles?
You've got to save your car here. You've got to save your car here. If you don't, you're going to get yourself in trouble. The valve train's very, very important. And that's why you got to get it done.
Well, whatever a guy like Jimmy Spencer can save a little of his energy and aggressiveness. Keep an eye on Jimmy Spencer, by the way, the guy we never forget. He grew up 40 miles from here in Berwick, Pennsylvania. His hard-charging style has made him a fan favorite. But Jimmy also has a softer side. And to show that, let's tiptoe through the tulips with Mr. Excitement.
Jimmy Spencer never forgets.
Hi, I'm Jimmy Spencer, and it's one thing to be in a NASCAR Winston Cup driver and drive for Team Target and Chip Ganassi, and the different side of me away from the racetracks when I get home on Sundays is come out and take Monday off usually and work in my yard. There's a lot of things you learn gardening, I guess, and the best way to learn is just plant something and watch it grow and say, boy, I made a mistake. I thought I didn't like certain things growing, so I'd cut them back. I cut all my daisies back last year and killed them. This is a pretty yellow, don't know the name of it, I'm sorry. I also have a, can't pronounce the right word, Healy. These are, I know them. Oh, the Dithyanthasis, something like that. I got my famous, here we go, Scalovia. See, people, I'm not an English major. Age cannot wither her, nor custom stale her infinite variety. Oh, is Darrell Walter going to have fun with this?
Well, DW has a rock garden, but that's for different reasons.
Yeah.
I think Jimmy Spencer, they want him to be a centerfold in Better Gears and Gardens, which is a magazine he'd probably be more. I hope he knows gears better than his flowers. I think chrysanthemum is what he was trying to say.
I know that's what he was trying to say, Chris. But we really need to get him one of those copies of Better Homes and Gardens so he can kind of tune up on this. Jimmy, good luck today. Stay out of the garden.
And a good sport. Nice. It'd be nice to see, and there he is, ready to go. If he could win here, he's never won at Pocono, close to home, and a guy who the fans certainly come out and holler for. How about a couple of drivers, Ryan Newman and Jimmy Johnson, who have a chance of winning this? But you talked about experience. They have never, this is their first Winston Cup race at Pocono, so what will they be up against?
The fact that they just really don't understand how much this track can change and how quickly it can get you in trouble. When you get out there racing, a lot of guys, they start putting pressure on you and how to pace themselves. This track all of a sudden can go away from you real quick and get you in trouble.
And briefly, fuel mileage here can also, with 500 miles, be an issue.
Won a lot of races here that way. It's something we haven't touched on much this morning, but be watching for a lot of these teams to try to stretch that fuel mileage and set themselves up for an end run.
Something we'll have for you in the broadcast. We'll keep an eye on all of that as the drivers are getting ready. We'll be here as the start of the race approaches with observations and post-race remarks. For Jeff Hammond, I'm Chris Myers. Thanks for watching the Singular Pre-Race Show. Enjoy the race as the best drivers in the world are getting ready to go over 200 miles per hour and shifting their way through Pocono. Stick around. NASCAR's heavyweight battle is moments away on Fox.
NASCAR on Fox welcomes you to Pocono, Pennsylvania, where you can see the grandstand is packed and the infield is too for the NASCAR Winston Cup Series. Today, the Pocono 500 on Fox, presented by Subway. Huge crowd, huge infield, all because this is the closest track to New York and Philadelphia, and because it is so uniquely shaped. Let's go trackside.
This is the day the Lord has made. Let us be glad and rejoice in it. O Lord, we rejoice in the racing events and the activities on this beautiful Pocono day. We are gladdened with your love that you show for us, and we acknowledge your gifts bestowed upon us. We ask your gifts of protection, guidance, and strength over all our drivers, their pit crews, and the race officials. And dear Lord, bless our fans with peace, health, and happiness. We ask this in your name. Amen.
Now for the playing of our national anthem, Sergeant Dave Martinez of the 389th Army Band. My next word you hear will be the most famous in all of racing.
Gentlemen, start your engines. Hello, everyone, once again, and welcome to Eastern Pennsylvania in the Pocono Mountains. This speedway, built in 1968, and it's played host to 48 Winston Cup races, only one of which was ever had qualifying, well, rained out, washed out, or percolated up out of the ground, as happened to us on Friday. But we're set to go. The field is set by points, and we're ready to race. Mike Joy with Larry McReynolds and Darrell Waltrip. And did you like racing on this road course, oval kind of track?
It's a unique racetrack. And that's what you have to do. You've got to neek up on it because this is a compromise. Everything here is compromise. Setup, performance. You can't go out here and run the car hard as it'll go. You can't put gear in it to make the car get around this track as fast as you want it to go. Everything is a compromise all day long. And don't forget, 500 miles. She's a grueler, too.
Larry, every straightaway here is a different length, every turn a different radius and a different banking. Which one of these three corners do you concentrate on?
Well, as close as the competition is, you can't give up nothing anywhere. My driver and I, we've been working together now almost 2 years. We're starting to think alike. Compromise is definitely the key word. I mean, you chase it all day long. The driver come on the radio and he say, you know, I'm turning good in turn 3 and turn 1, but I'm way too loose in turn 2. You got to fix this thing. Well, you'll tighten him up turn 2, then you're not turning. The car's pushing in 1 and 3. The engine guys, they've been compromising, trying to make maximum power for these long straightaways, but not doing anything to overstep that aggressive line or doing everything they can to get fuel mileage, because trust me, we will mention that word before this day's out.
It's a 200-mile-per-hour super speedway, and it's a flat short track all at the same time. We'll show you how when we come back. It's a place where, well, a lot of things can happen.
Budweiser, official beer of NASCAR, proud sponsor of the Bud Pole Award, given to the fastest qualifier at each race, but qualifying was washed out. So here are the drivers who are